Ah, yeah. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. Ravens flock. What's going on? I got one statement to say. We're going to the playoffs. We're going to the playoffs. And let me tell you something. That is not something we thought was going to happen once we went 6-5. I mean, everybody was looking at this season thinking, it's all over for us. I mean, everybody's getting put on the list. We've just lost to Pittsburgh. Division is over. We've got nothing left to do. Can we honestly go out on a run? We looked at the schedule and said it favored us, but that Cleveland game was definitely the one where we looked at and said, we might lose that one. But you know what? The way that team, our backups played against Pittsburgh and Heinz Field, it motivated the starters. It motivated Lamar Jackson, and he came back rejuvenized, and he led the team to the playoffs. Lamar Jackson, you just pulled off an Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay fans know exactly what I'm talking about. Several seasons they've dealt with that. Recently was what, 2016? Team is on the verge of missing the playoffs, and what does Aaron Rodgers do? Like the elite player he is, like the MVP player he is, he puts the team on his back, and he goes on a run and runs the table and takes his team to the postseason. They win the NFC North. Now, for us, unfortunately, we could not win our division, but we could still make the playoffs. And you know what? Lamar Jackson, being the elite player himself and being an MVP as well, he put the team on his back and said, I will not let us fall out of the postseason. We've got to redeem ourselves. So we've got to go back to the playoffs. And we went on a run. 5-0. Obviously, the game of the season, arguably, that Monday Night Football game against Cleveland was what truly saved our season. And when we needed the MVP most and needed the leader of this franchise to show up, he came out and did it. And because of that, we're standing here today in the postseason. We punched our ticket in. Oh my God, there's nothing to talk about this game except one man, Jermaine Pratt. My mans. Everyone else on Cincinnati, all I gotta say to you is this was a tough way to end the season. I wish you guys the best of luck. Focus on fixing that offensive line in the draft so that when Burrow comes back, you can have protection. Maybe, I don't know what's going to happen with A.J. Green. You guys figure that situation out. Maybe you might need to get another weapon if you give up A.J. Green. Whatever happens with that, I wish you the best. I wish that defense also gets healthy and you figure that situation out. But the most important thing is make sure you fix this offensive line so that when Burrow comes back next season, you have a healthy O-line for him to be able to throw the football in. That's it. For Jermaine, you my friend. You my friend. See, this is what happens. Let me tell you something about the Ravens fan base. This is a very toxic fan base, to the point where even I've gotten frustrated with a lot of fans coming at me. You know, this is a very, very toxic fan base, and one thing you don't want to do is give them material to come after you. The NFL post on Twitter, will the Ravens punch their team to the playoffs? And Jermaine's like, you know what? Nah. We gonna play them. I got respect for my team. We gonna go out there. I'm a little bit confident in our abilities. We gonna go out there and we gonna end their season. He tweeted that, and so many Ravens fans were like, all right, bro, we gonna be back on Sunday to see how this worked out. Well, Pratt, you did a real good job today. I was saying, well, if you're gonna talk like that, your team not only better come up with a W, but you need to show out. Well, you really showed out today. You did a great job taking that stiff arm from J.K. Dobbins as he ran his way all the way into the end zone for a 72-yard touchdown. Your defense also did a fantastic job by giving up over 400 rushing yards. There's been, I believe, 4 times since 1950 where a defense has given up over 400 rushing yards. I don't put that on anybody else but them. You were the only one that was acting confident. And I'm not even confident. You acted a little bit cocky. And it's fine to be confident in your team. I always say with players, like, I got no problem with you giving the take, but you got to go out there and ball out. Had Jermaine gone out there, balled out, and the team got blown out, I ain't got no problems. You are one player. If the whole team's not doing well, I'm not going to put it on you. At least at the end of the day, we can be like, hey, Jermaine, you did what you could, but the team just wasn't able to rally. You tried to bring some confidence into them by tweeting it out. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. But the fact that you guys got blown out and you yourself didn't do anything, and you're part of a highlight play where you get stiffed on by J.K. Dobbins, yeah, prepare. I'm not going to say nothing. This is all I got to say for the video. I got nothing against you personally. You seem like a really solid player for Cincinnati. Best of luck next season. It's all love, but the Ravens fan base ain't always going to show love. Prepare for the toxic comments that are about to be on your mentions. So just prepare for that. Both Twitter and Instagram. They're coming after you. But yeah, Ravens offense. Woo! Lamar Jackson throwing the football didn't really need to do that. And I always try to tell people this whenever they're like, Lamar Jackson doesn't have many 300 yards passing games. The reason for that is because we're running we're a run-first offense and we're running for so much yards. How can you expect this man to have 300 passing yards if you get almost 200 rushing yards a game? Like, imagine this game. You expect Lamar Jackson to throw for 300 when your defense rushes for over 400 yards? That's not possible. At this point, you're acting like this is Madden. You can't do that. Of course, you look at his numbers, it's not necessarily impressive with the passing yards. I mean, what was he? 10 of 18, 113 passing yards? That's nothing impressive in terms of passing yards. What is impressive is the 3 touchdown passes. One, a beautiful dime to Miles Boykin, and the other 2 to Hollywood Brown. At this point, I don't know if we can call him Marquise. I don't know if we can call him Hollywood, because earlier in the game, he dropped a perfect throw from Lamar Jackson. That was a bomb down the field, and it was a pass that was perfectly thrown outside the numbers, something people always try to say that Lamar can't do. That was perfect. It was on the money, and Hollywood just happened to drop it, and everyone was getting frustrated. Another play later in the game, it's like 2nd and 9. He wasn't even paying attention. Lamar threw it right to him. He just wasn't paying attention. The ball ended up being incomplete. So like, people look at those situations and say, oh my God, what is he doing? This guy, oh my God, we can't call him Hollywood. You got to call him Marquise Brown. That's just how the situation is. But you know what? He ended up getting 2 touchdowns. So give the man his credit. I feel like at some point you're just going to have to deal with it. He is our Deshaun Jackson. Only difference is he's actually able to stay healthy. Hopefully that does stay. Do not get the injury-riddled bug that has plagued Deshaun Jackson's career. Hopefully you will stay healthy. Other than that, we're going to have to deal with the drops. Hopefully you don't do that in this playoff game because, it's going to be crazy. Lamar Jackson himself doing what he needed to do. Those 3 touchdown passes was great. The only one thing about Lamar Jackson is he's always going to possibly have like 1 or 2 bad throws. And in this game, he had like 2 bad throws, but one of them was just an incomplete, kind of floated over the top. But the other one ended up being an interception, which actually I'm not even gonna say it was a bad throw. It was just a bad play because it was 3rd down, and if you would have looked to his left, I believe that was J.K. Dobbins that was open. If he takes the check down, that's a 1st down. Instead, Lamar's looking, he's looking, and I'm not saying the selection he chose was wrong. So I'm not gonna be nitpicky. I'm not gonna nitpick that one because it's not like the selection he chose was wrong. For all we know, the player he got was open. But you just had a batted down pass. I don't know. They're looking to bat it down. I don't know. The check down was over to the left, and I'm hoping Lamar moving forward. Sometimes you just gotta look to your left and see if the easy pass is there. I know Lamar's always looking for the big play, and I love that about him. Sometimes take the check down, and that is something Lamar's been doing more frequently, taking the check down. It's just occasionally he'll forget. Otherwise, the interception necessarily wasn't his fault. It was a batted pass that got picked off. All quarterbacks go through that, So it is what it is for that. Other than that, J.K. Dobbins had like 160 rushing yards. That's 72-yard rushing touchdown. Oh my God. I'm getting flashbacks. We already know another back who used to wear number 27. Main man, the Reyes of Rice. He used to get these long runs, and we believe J.K. Dobbins had the explosiveness to do that. So to see him go out there and get that 72-yard touchdown, that's just beautiful. Maybe we get a situation where he does that in the playoffs next week. That would be fantastic. But J.K. Dobbins, man, 2 rushing touchdowns on the day, over 160 yards rushing. He's doing his thing. Gus Edwards also doing his thing on the ground. And Lamar Jackson himself, I believe he had 94, 98 rushing yards. He eclipsed 1,000 rushing yards on the season. Let's go. Lamar Action Jackson is the first quarterback in NFL history to have back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons. Michael Vick hasn't even done that. So he breaks Michael Vick's record last year and then makes history again this year by rushing for yet another 1,000 yards. Spectacular. What a player. I don't care what anyone wants to say about this guy as a quarterback, as a competitor, as a leader of this franchise, as a player, as a just straight up baller. This guy is elite. Say whatever you want to say about his passing. Say whatever you want to say about him as a quarterback. This guy finds ways to win. All he has left to prove is if he can win in the postseason, and he will get his opportunity next week. Defense today did a really solid job. However, I just gotta say, for the most part, they didn't necessarily have to do much because we were dominating on time of possession. So they were relatively, rested. They didn't really need to be overly pressured, and they were doing a good job bringing pressure to Cincinnati's offense. They definitely pressured those guys. AJ Green could not get a catch to save his life. They were trying to get this man. They also had 2 interceptions that they caught, so that's great. One was Marcus Peters, who I know he's happy he got that interception because they were at the goal line, and it was, 2nd and goal, I believe, and the pass interference was called on him when he was covering AJ Green. He was so furious, and he was looking at the refs like, I did not hold this guy. Next thing you know, next play, he gets the pick in the end zone, and he just starts running all the way down. So it was fantastic. I love to see that. And of course, the second interception, Chuck Clark. How did I mess that up? Chuck Clark gets his first interception on the season. Fantastic. Team overall just did what they needed to do. Defense got some pressure. They made some great coverages. They made some great stops. Honestly, the team was rolling. I think we punted once in this game. That was in the 4th quarter late. After that, we really were rolling in this game. Like, when John Harbaugh said that this team was locked in and focused, obviously, we're going to take his word for it and believe him. But at the end of the day, you can be as focused as you want. If you don't go out there and execute, it's not going to matter. But we actually went out there and executed. And I think this is the biggest difference we're seeing with Lamar Jackson. When he's focused and he's ready to go, and it's a situation where the team's got to win, he's going in. He's locked in. He does not care. He's going to do everything in his power to win this game. And that's what he did. That's exactly what he did. This is not like 2017, where all we have to do is win and we're in. That team was so inconsistent. This team has been a team that's been dealing with so many things, injuries, and being on the list and stuff like that. They've dealt with a lot. The whole outbreak was tough for this team. But they came together and they went on this run, and now they're in the postseason. We're the 5th seed, and you guys know what that means. Depending on what happens here with both Tennessee and Indianapolis, we will be facing off against the winner of the AFC South. If the Titans lose to the Texans, they may end up losing out and they may miss the postseason. It's very possible. Or they may become a wildcard team. I don't know. We'll see. If the Colts win against the Jags, they can take that spot. But, there's nothing else the Colts can do. Wait, actually, no. Technically, since the Dolphins lost, the Colts are technically in the playoffs right now. So even if they, they're in. They're in. As long as they beat the Jags, they'll surely be in because now the Dolphins have lost. So that's pretty much the case. Either the Colts, if they win, they're going to be in the wild card spot, or they're going to win the AFC South. The way I see it, I think the Titans are going to take care of business. They're going to win the AFC South, and they're going to take down the Texans. And if that ends up being the case, it's revenge time, man. Obviously, Tennessee was responsible for ending up our season in the playoffs back in January of last year. That was tough in the divisional round. And then we faced off against them this year, and we blew a lead. We were up, we had the ball, we were running, and then we choked away a lead and choked in overtime. So this team has handed us 2 L's in 2020. It's 2021 now. We've got to find a way to get revenge. And again, I know Lamar Jackson's ready for this moment, and I'll definitely be talking about it this week. But, Lamar himself knows the pressure's on him. He's got to win this game because, trust me, he goes 0-3, he will be labeled as a choke artist. There's one thing, we always talk about Peyton Manning being 0-3, but there's one thing we always forget about that, even though he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. And I'll definitely discuss that at some point this week. But yeah, I'm just so happy. We got the win, man. We got the win. With that being said, man, that's really all I got. It's fantastic win. Fantastic win. We're going to the playoffs. We're going to the playoffs. That's all that matters, man. As long as you get into the tournament, anything can happen. We ourselves have won as a wild card team before. The Giants won as a wild card team before. The Packers have won as a wild card team before. It's possible. Just gotta take it 1 week at a time and face off against who you face off against. If this team can get healthy, we get all our guys back, and we continue to play the way we're playing right now, we will certainly be doing something in the playoffs and making some noise. Hopefully, we go on a run, but we'll see what happens. With that being said, that's all I got, and I'm out of here, man. Go Ravens! Let's go! Playoff bound!